Should we just meditate for a few minutes?
I know, right?
Just dead air.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Am I Doing This Wrong? I hope you guys are having a great February. We have definitely had a lot of fun with our sex and relationship episodes. Mm-hmm. And we are wrapping it up with this one. So fun times ahead, right?
Nothing but.
Nothing but. Oh, okay. Everyone put that phrase in your mind because that is actually going to tie in to today's episode. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Good job, Ryann. Good job.
I know. All about the unintentional transitions.
That's all we know how to do.
Right. I know. We can never plan them out. They just happen randomly, and that's the best way.
That's the only way because we have to get to the next part of the show. So something's got to happen.
Right. Moving on.
Yeah. Right. You just yell moving on. You're like, your teacher comes out, your inner teacher. And so you just get real strict. Yeah.
PTSD, yeah. Morgan. I'm still getting over it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Ooh, no-go zone. Yeah.
No-go zone.
Also ties into this episode. Wow. We're look at us.
Look at us.
We haven't even said what it's about yet.
I know.
If you guys have read the description, you know, but this is great. This is great. All right. First, let's get our check-ins check-ins in.
Let's get our check-ins in. Yeah, let's get them in.
I know, but I feel like you have to take an extra long pause between because it makes sense, but it's like that, you know, like that's grammatically correct, but
you really need to emphasize that or I think it's emphasis on the first that
okay. This is not an episode on grammar rules, so let's move on. How are you doing, Ryann?
I'm good. I am good. What have I done this week? I'm just like drawing a blank. Oh, that's because Valentine's Day just passed, and that actually is a special day because that's when we adopted our first dog. So we had like a cute little party for them and put on garments and hats that they did not want or ask for, but we did it.
They did not look like they were loving it. Yeah.
We're not loving it, but we loved every minute out of those 10 minutes. But yeah, it was good, relaxed weekend. My family was supposed to come and visit like a weekend ago, and so now we're preparing for our upcoming weekend, which will be fun. So yeah, just taking it easy, really getting into my schedule now, which I really do like. It's allowing me to take the weeks a little bit easier, but they're about to pick up because of course I'm crazy and restless and can't, sit around for long. So I'm actually going to be working at, probably going to have to cut that out. Never mind. I don't know if I can talk about that, but I've got some exciting new, things going on in my professional life, which are really cool. So yeah, I'm excited. It's been a good week though. I have a therapy session tomorrow, so I guess it's probably good we're recording today,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just not like spilling all, like I said, I don't feel open today, which is good.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, it's been a good week. Nothing crazy to report, but yeah, so I'm just content. Wow. That feels nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that therapy paying off.
I know, better. Worth every penny.
Right.
But anywho, how are you doing?
I'm good. Kind of same deal over here. Not a lot to report. Was a little stressed about a situation, but I have all my therapy tools now. And so I was able to work through it, talk it out, really get some clarity on the situation that I would have handled very differently, I think, a year ago.
Right.
So that was really cool. I'm still going to go talk to my therapist about it because I just, I want to know if there's a better way I could have handled things. But I definitely felt good about the way it was handled. It was resolved in like a mature way. So yay for growth,
I
that's
know.
what it felt like.
Yes, that's awesome. And not to just go back to my check-in, but just real quick, I did want to add, because yeah, what you said really struck with me. I am using those tools. Like, that's wild to think about, because when I first started therapy, and I think I've mentioned this on past, episodes, like it was really scary, because it was like, I have to change what I've been doing. And even though, I don't know, like, especially in our modern day, like, society with like social media, there's a lot of talk about mental health, but I do feel like a lot of it focuses on the positives of like, yeah, the growing and all those things. But seriously, like, it takes a lot to get to that point. I've been in therapy for a few months now, actually quite a while now that I think about it. I think I started in October. So I've been in a while, but at the same time, it took a while for me to even like start to like actually adapt those things to my life. Without feeling guilty if I didn't do it right, like, which ties into our show, right? Am I doing this wrong? But that's okay. Like, I probably was, kind of off on some of the ways that I first went about therapy. I don't know if I knew what my intentions were with starting therapy. You know what I mean? I think I wanted it to be fixed, right? I wanted to fix myself, which a lot of the things that I thought were wrong with me weren't. It was just that, I needed to have a different outlook, right? And that had to do with self-esteem and just building myself up and all those things. And so anyways, point being, you're right. Like, I'm not content just because it's just a contented day. Like, I'm content because I've been putting in some work to get here. So thank you for bringing that up. That's a great way to put it. It's not that nothing has probably happened or transpired in my past days. It's just that I don't have anything to necessarily get off my chest, because I've been trying to be a lot more upfront with my feelings and, thoughts or whatever in general.
Right.
Yeah. So that feels great. Thank you.
So happy to help. I'll be here anytime you're here.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Right.
Well, good. And now we know everyone's feeling good. Hope you guys are feeling good. We have a fun episode. Certainly fun. Can be fun. We'll see what you guys think. I had fun doing the research. I found some more charts. Love a good chart. So, love some stats. So all that being said, let's get into it, because today we are talking about one night stands.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. It could be good. It could be,
Oh yeah. Depends. Oh right. Yeah. The it's a spectrum, right? One night stands.
Yeah.
They can really range. But yeah, let's get into it.
So I found a lot of good information. It was a survey. It was they surveyed Europeans and Americans. So we'll have a little comparison between the two. I found it on Zava Med, and it was just like different thoughts on this kind of sexual encounter. So first they started off by asking people, how many partners have you had in your life? Okay. So kind of back to our body count episode. They gave us a chart here. And this is a good way, I think, just starting off the survey, they were trying to figure out how many people, trying to figure out like how sexually experienced people were who were participating in the survey.
Okay. So this wasn't specific to one night stands, right?
Right. No, this first question is just how many people have you been with?
Oh. Okay.
And again, as we know, people lie. So
yeah,
grain of salt here.
Right.
So 3% said that they've never had sex, never had a partner. 1 to 2, 18% said they had 1 to 2 partners. 3 to 5 is the highest. 27% said that they had 3 to 5. 21% said 6 to 10. 11 to 15 was 13%. 16 to 20 partners was 5%. 21 to 30 was 5%. And 31 plus was 7%. And then there was 1% that wasn't sure.
That's the higher percent. They're like, I
I
know.
don't
Like,
know.
you're 31
Yeah.
plus. Just put them in the 31 plus. That's where they
Right.
belong.
Right. Yeah. It was 31. Yeah, exactly. So
3 to 5 was the highest percentage of people.
that's what I'm saying. I think people are lying, or maybe we just run around in certain circles. Like, I don't know.
Fair enough. Wait, was this USA or the US and Europe together?
Yeah. So
Oh,
they
the stats were
surveyed
together.
500 Americans, 500 Europeans.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I don't necessarily think that just because, I know that there are a lot of stereotypes about Europeans being more open about sex and stuff like that, which is true just in general, like as far as like education wise, I think, but people are still fucking everywhere. 3 to 5 though, I guess it would depend also, like maybe the median age range, because like, or the median age, because like older people, I could see that those stats being pretty spot on, because older people, like, I don't want to like name any names in my life, but like I know some older people that I'm like, you really haven't been laid that much, huh? Like, you really haven't had that much sex. Like, no wonder you're so wound up. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's sad. Tell me who they are after, so we can. I don't know what we can do.
I mean,
what do you do for that? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Go to therapy.
I know, right? Send them a gift basket. Like, what am I trying to do? Like, what am I gonna try and do here? I don't know. Don't tell me who. Okay, so of these people, they asked him, "Have you ever had a one night stand?" And 34% said no.
See,
which makes sense. If most people are the 3 to 5 range, then that's
right.
probably some kind of relationship.
Right.
But 66% said yes.
There you go.
So pretty good amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did it happen? So was it planned? 14% said yes, which I'm like, how do you plan for that?
I mean, that could be like like setting up a first, setting up a first date knowing that it's going to end in sex, like, meeting up only for sex. I mean, we've planned one night stands.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's fair. That's fair. So sometimes I didn't know that I was going to plan for it. So I feel like there should be an in-between survey of like, or an in-between poll.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever did any like grooming for a date, just in case, you planned for a one night stand, you know what I mean?
Right. That's yeah.
Whether it ended up with that person.
Date. You're just assuming every date is going to end in a one night stand. It could end in a relationship. Don't be so
yeah, but
negative.
it could also well, that's the thing though, like, how do you distinguish a one night stand from, like something else? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had a one night stand and then ended up calling that person again, right? But that's still a one night stand, right?
We'll get into it.
Okay.
So anyway, other side of that poll was 86% said that it was spontaneous. So meet at a bar, meet at a club, wherever. But speaking of, they did ask people, where is the best place to seek out a one night stand? So they broke this down by gender and nationality. And we don't have to go into it too much, but the highest ones for Europeans was a bar. Mm-hmm. And the highest for Americans was a club. So I don't know if that's just because maybe there are more clubs. I don't know. There's a lot of clubs in Europe.
Yeah. Bars in Europe are pubs, right?
That's true. And there's more of those. Like
right. That's more part of like,
more
the
walkable.
Culture.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So as far as meeting people on an app, like we were just talking about, Americans definitely do it way more. 21% versus like 9 to 15% on the European side.
Yeah. Do you know the year? I'm curious to know when
I believe this was 2018.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this might be a little skewed again, kind of back to our other numbers from previous episodes. I feel like the pandemic probably, like those app numbers might be real high now,
True. Well, that's the thing with apps, because I do see that apps being more prevalent in the US makes more sense, because again, just like being more open and honest about sexuality in Europe versus here, like that makes sense that the online apps would flourish here more than they would anywhere else, Yeah. Like a lot of people, I mean, like, for example, that's why I was saying, I didn't really use apps at first, because I was like, I was still meeting people in real life. Like, I was like, we're still going out all the time. Like I didn't feel like I was in any shortage of meeting people,
Right.
no shortage of one night stands over here.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel the need for it yet. Whereas I know that people were maybe a little bit more introverted, were like, well, this is like a good way for me to like venture out, but not be at the clubs. Cause that's the thing, like meeting people at clubs and going home. I mean, you are so sweaty after a club, like, and I'm not knocking it. I've done it. I'm just saying you are real sweaty. That's all I'm going to say on that. So I'd rather it be after a pub,
That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of apps though, when I started to do the research, I just put in one night stand. Do you know how many like apps and websites there are for finding a one night stand? Just, I mean,
like
we look to like strictly. And that's not to say people obviously aren't using like Hinge and Bumble and stuff to
Right.
like, to get some and just hook up for the night. But yeah, I had to like be real specific with my research to get more information, because the first page of Google was just all these different, it was like 10 best, one I saw, it was like 10 best apps to use for one night stands in the Cleveland bar scene. I was like, that's on page 1 of Google. Like that's getting a lot of hits. So
yeah, that's
we
really
see you,
specific.
Cleveland. We
right.
see you.
I know that's incredibly specific, but that's the thing. Like people definitely are looking for that because, again, the amount of single people, or just people looking for one night stands versus the amount of people in committed relationships that aren't, or closed relationships, I guess. Like the numbers obviously point to, single people wanting to get together. And I would think that since COVID, those numbers probably shot up. People in Cleveland are clearly like, we got to get out there. like,
maybe we should take a note. Yeah,
I know.
Be more like Cleveland.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, so they broke it down a little bit in regards to who's having one night stands. So in Europe, the average for women is 4. And I think the survey was polling people between like 20 and 40. So just to give you an idea of the age range.
Okay.
But for Europe, like I said, women was 4 and for men it was 6. And in the US, for women it was 6 and for men it was 7.
Okay.
So a lot closer in number in the US.
Right.
Which is interesting, but I mean, that makes sense, at least from my experience. So there you go. So now into the nitty gritty details. They asked people, was it satisfying?
A resounding no. I'm just kidding.
So the question, they worded it as how often people were less than completely satisfied with one night stands.
This is like a Google survey. Like it's gonna like pop up on their screen after they use the app. How satisfied were you with it?
Right. Yeah.
It's like a happy face.
Right. Oh my God. Could you imagine? I wonder if the Cleveland scene has this.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. Do you have time for a quick 2-minute survey?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have like
you like rate this dick.
Right. Rate this dick. Yeah. They have like the buttons, like, in the airport when you.
Oh, it's like the smiley face or like the red sad face.
Right. Like, I'm indifferent. I'm not going to answer today, but.
Right. Yeah. So what were the people saying? So in Europe, women said 84% were less than completely satisfied.
That's right, ladies.
And men said 62%. And for American women, it was 81%, and then 68% of men.
And the question was less than satisfied.
Less than completely satisfied.
I mean, that's a very loaded question. Like,
that
is anybody
like
answering yes to
that? Completely satisfied?
Right. Yeah.
Like, even if you had like great service and did all this and that, you're like, oh, like 9 out of 10.
Right.
I don't think people just want to give like 100% confirmation that it was the best thing ever.
Right. Yeah.
I
mean, satisfaction, because that's the thing. Like reading between the lines, I'm like, do you mean orgasming? Is that what we're asking? Are you like asking people without asking people if they had an orgasm? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, probably.
Which the numbers need to be way lower on the woman side.
Well, they're high because they were less than completely satisfied.
Oh, right.
Yes, I know. So like it's a little bit backwards in phrasing.
Okay.
But over 80% of women in both locations were saying that no,
they were less than satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. Less than.
Interesting. That's an interesting way to think about one night stands, because I don't know, I think that's why we get on this subject, because it's like, what is fun about the one night stands? Is it really just the sex, or is it the conquest? Is it the chase?
Right.
You know, I wonder if they did a survey on these same people, how was the chase? Was that less than satisfying?
Right. That's a great question. Yeah. How was the buildup?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah. How was the tension before you got to it?
Right.
That'd be an interesting question.
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
That's what I want to know. So, judginess, like we said, people who would judge harshly, even though they've had a one night stand. So I just fucked a stranger. I'm going to go tell Ryann. And even though she's fucked a stranger, she's going to, give me some grief about it.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Double standard for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in Europe, women, 25% would judge harshly and 18% of men. And then for the US, 21% of women and 14% of men. So less judgy in the US, but it's happening more. So maybe that's why it's more commonplace.
Fair. Yeah, I would say so. I think also too, I don't know, it says weird things, or it like shows to me like kind of weird / interesting things about our culture, because I think, yeah, we're having more one night stands here, but like, I don't know, just the culture of like our club scene, especially, again, like I'm just assuming like most of the clubs that we have here are obviously going to be geared toward like mostly straight people. Obviously you have your pockets in every city, but the majority of the clubs are geared towards, cis het straight couples, right? And I just think like the culture around one night stands is really toxic. So I don't think that like the judgment comes from the same place. Like when people engage in something versus what they see other people engage in, they don't like connect the two, right? That's like cognitive dissonance, right? They're like, right, well, that's not what I do, right? Like I hooked up with that guy, but that was just like a fluke, and like we were just like in the mood, versus like seeing somebody hook up. You've probably went to the club. We've both been to the club with like judgy ass straight people that are like, oh my God, look at those people like sucking their face. And I'm like, that was you last weekend. Like, you're just too hungover this weekend.
Right.
Like, so that checks out for me.
The survey didn't specify if they were only polling straight people or not, but I kind of got a sense of that.
Right.
So last one is, how long do you stay in touch? So kind of back to Ryann's question a little bit ago. After a one night stand, how long do people keep in touch? And my first thought was, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, never.
Yeah.
But alas, there are numbers. So in Europe, they say, I don't stay in touch with my one night stands, period. 29%. A few days, 27%. A few weeks, 24%. A few months, 9%. And long-term, 11%. So you either found a really good friend, or this is not a one-night stand, I feel like.
Right? What do you mean you kept in contact?
Right. So on the flip side, Americans, which I'm American, so here I am in the numbers. I don't stay in touch with my one-night stand, 43%. Yeah. We know how to dip out, Yeah.
Just so much more shame tied to it. I think that's why also.
Oh, that's true. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yep. I'm like, block, delete.
Yeah.
Never. Goodbye.
Yeah, you never existed.
Yeah.
No paper trail.
No, exactly. Yeah, delete the evidence. So a few days was 20% for Americans. A few weeks was 18%. A few months, 11%. And long term is 8%. So some people just want to keep them around.
Interesting. I mean, because that's the thing, I guess keeping in contact could end up being like a friends with benefits type thing, or maybe not a friend, just a benefits type thing, like, yeah, can you have multiple one night stands with the same person? I think you can.
I mean,
right? Or does that just become something different?
I think that becomes something different. I think that would be like a consistent hookup.
Right. Okay.
Because then you start to learn what each other likes and doesn't like. I feel like there are some like particulars around a one night stand, like,
That's true.
and that might be why people aren't completely satisfied. You might not be as open as you are with a more regular partner on what you're into. You might just be in it to get yourself off. So you are not as attentive to that other person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There are all kinds of one night stands, and Ryan and I have partaken in a mini, it's a spectrum, like we said about, what were we talking about before? What did we call a spectrum? Nope. Okay, moving on. So okay, so to Ryan's point a little bit ago about this kind of seeming more aligned with like the straight community, I did try and do some research into the LGBTQ plus community just to see. And I did find an article that was about sleeping with other people, or this was what it was called, Sleeping with Other People, How Gay Men Are Making Open Relationships Work. So yes and no. I only bring this up because we did have a great conversation with Eli on our orgies episode, and he really helped to provide some insight on how an open relationship works, what boundaries look like, what good communication looks like. But it really just made it seem like maybe one night stands, like a lot of these surveys, like a lot of these poll results and things aren't as applicable to the gay community because they are more open-minded with like relationship structure. And I don't want to stereotype in the other way either, but that's kind of how this article put it. So they interviewed this married musician, which I don't know why being a musician was relevant for the article, but they did make a point. So they're like, he's a cool guy. So,
yeah. I know he's in touch with the scene, but he's also grounded because he's married, he's like cultured, but like also like monogamous. That's, what I mean? Or like supposedly, maybe not. Maybe.
Well, okay. So, well, no, because they're in an open relationship.
Okay.
But again, back to our monogamy episode, like it's really what that means to you. So,
right.
Anyway, look at all these callbacks.
I know if you haven't watched any of our other episodes, just watch this one and we'll talk about all the other ones.
I know it's a mishmash of everything. So, so they did have a quote from him that said, "We get to fulfill our desire of having sex with other people. We avoid cheating and the resentment that comes with a monogamous relationship when you can't pursue sexual urges." And then I just tied in this other part that said in 2005, a study found that more than 40% of gay men had an arrangement that sex outside the relationship was permissible, while less than 5% of heterosexual and lesbian couples reported the same. So I did think that was interesting in comparison to some of the other stats we were looking at.
Yeah, I think even though there's different, I think all the statistics point to the fact that we still live in a very, misogynistic society. Like gay men, have always historically had more room to be open. And I think that's because men have just always had much more control over their sexuality than women, just in our, like in the way that society views, autonomy, even bodily autonomy. Right. And so it makes sense that, like you said, it wasn't even just, cis hetero, or I guess like hetero relationships. It was also lesbians, which that's really interesting, right? Because that means that in some ways, I think, again, just my opinion, but I think that some ways women are still putting those values onto ourselves, in a lot of ways. I know for myself, for a long time, I didn't share. I mean, again, I don't know my number. Go watch the body count episode. But in a lot of ways,
1%.
What'd you say?
I said you're in the 1%.
Right. No,
people who don't know.
Who don't want to know. But either way, even if I did know, I mean, it was just never something that I wanted to care about, but I knew that wasn't something that was normalized. And so I didn't tell a lot of people, like it was just within, I'd say like the last 5, maybe 10 years that like, owning your sexuality has become like a part of popular culture. But before that, oh my gosh, like just watch any old sitcom from like, 2007 and older. Like just the amount of misogynistic bullshit that is just all like threaded throughout the entire like storyline basically
Right.
just goes to show you that like hooking up, is something that's like super frowned upon. And not only that, but like let a girl have more than one boyfriend. And it's like, whoa, hold the phone. It's just like this whole thing. So yeah, I see these numbers and I'm like, it kind of does line up with our culture because a lot of people, yeah, again, sexual liberation is like a new concept.
Yeah.
A new popularized concept, I should say.
Right. No, that's true. It seemed a lot more taboo.
Right.
It's
Oh
become
yeah.
a lot more mainstream.
Oh, for sure.
So this article went on to talk about rules, boundaries, and communication is key, which is, I mean, we talk about that all the time and how many different topics we cover. So
yeah,
it's just rules for life. You know what I mean?
It's true. Set those boundaries.
Set those boundaries. Practice safer sex. We're fans. Do it. Protect yourself. This article kind of went on and I didn't love it, but I'll just kind of, since we're bringing it up and it's going to be in the show notes, just want to point that out. It was kind of critical of open relationships, but it made me laugh because there was an amendment at the end that said it was amended in 2016 that the psychotherapist is not a critic of non-monogamous relationships and does not think humans are unable to separate love and sex. So
they
that
had to
was
go
pretty
back.
funny.
Right.
They had to go
add that
back.
in.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really great point that you brought up that in more recent times,
Yeah.
these things are becoming a lot more, and they're not new, but they
Right.
are becoming more acceptable, widely acceptable.
Yeah,
I
acceptable.
should say.
I don't even know if it's acceptable because it's just more known. Like I think people are starting to be a little bit more realistic with the fact that like people do sleep with each other. I mean, like I definitely, I can't think of in a time exactly, but I can definitely remember conversations around like women saying like, oh, but that like he didn't count, like that didn't count, like I'm not adding him because like blah blah blah. And all that really is just you like, you know what I mean? Again, like this arbitrary idea that like you should have like less than this number, or you know what I mean? Like,
but as we said in body count, any penetration counts. So,
well, no, exactly. And we know exactly. We know that to be true, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I've definitely been around for those conversations where people say silly things like that, like, oh, that doesn't count. Like, it doesn't. And it's just like, why does it matter if it counts or not? Right. Because again, you're saying that like, there's like a certain limit that you don't want to go over. Right. You're like, you know what I mean? Like, because the number could be too much or something.
Right.
I don't think
maybe it's that people care less. Like, why does it matter? Why is it a big deal?
Right.
Like, who's like the number counter? Like, where's like,
exactly.
Like the sex police are going to come and get you because you had too many partners.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I guess the sex police would be like whoever they want their partner to be, right? Like their long-term partner, because that's the thing. Like, if you don't have necessarily like plans to, quote unquote, settle down and like, meet a partner, do all those things with, if those aren't in your plans to like follow like the, like the societal standard of like what a relationship should be, then why would your number ever matter? You know what I mean? I mean, either way, I don't think it matters. But a lot of times it's like, well, no, I don't want to be quote unquote used up like before my marriage or whatever, whatever. I got a lot of miles, you've heard all the dumb bullshit that people try to compare having sex to, which it literally doesn't compare to anything else. But I mean, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going to subscribe to that, then okay, I guess. But it just all seems like forms of control that just lead to unhealthy relationships, right? It probably will end up to you lying to yourself or someone else, right? Like saying that somebody doesn't count because either you didn't orgasm or they weren't good or it ended quickly. All those reasons are, you know what I mean, are just wrapped up in like some like arbitrary bullshit about how many you should or shouldn't be sleeping with.
Right, exactly. And it does tie to a lot of shame. I think that, yeah, just to your point about it being unhealthy, it could definitely affect that in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And lead to more lying, you know what I mean? Or like lying about things. Like you're either going to be lying to someone or lying to yourself or both. And like, where does that get you? You know what I mean? Once you start lying, like, I don't know, me and my husband were actually just talking about this not too long ago. We were talking about like just the idea of lying, you know, and again, everyone lies, everyone's lied about something, whether it was something simple or big, whatever, everyone's done it and has done it or will do it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But in a relationship, like, you know, especially like if you're in a serious relationship where you're actually like living with the person or, you know, doing things with them every day, like keeping up lies is just like not, it's not that it's like morally good or bad. I don't care about that. Like whatever, lie if you want to, but it's just not feasible, right? Because you're gonna like keeping up a lie is work. You have to remember that you lied about something. And if anything else comes up about that subject, you have to like cover it up or, you know, whatever. So it's not so much that the lying is the issue to me, in my opinion. You can respond and let me know what you think. It's just that it will inevitably lead to other things having to be skewed or lied about as well. Does that make sense?
Right. It snowballs. It totally snowballs. It's too
not
much.
even just snowballs into something else. It's just like a lot of different portions of your life that probably tie to that, especially something sexual, right? Like having, like, for example, you know, say a couple is dating, right? And the person says, you know, maybe they went to college together. Okay. So say this couple went to college together and they're like, you know, and one partner asks the other, hey, you know, how many people did you sleep with in college? And the person is feeling self-conscious and or lying to themselves about it. And so they say, oh, you know, just like a few, like 4, I think 5, like that's it. Right. Eventually something else is going to come out, right? You could run into somebody, a friend could say something, like eventually other parts of your life is going to come into contact with this information, you know, how many times you've been to Planned Parenthood, you know what I mean? Like something eventually is going to come out, and I feel like it just bleeds into other portions of the life. So I don't always think it's going to necessarily snowball into this big thing. It could, if it's like something you're seriously lying about. I'm just saying something as simple as this, right? Like it's not like me and my partner are talking about our body count every other day. But at the same time, if I were to lie about it, my like life stories would not match up with a low number. You know what I mean? Like the amount of stories.
That's a fair point. And now you have a podcast where we literally talk about those stories.
Right.
So you could go back and reference these episodes. You could like probably make notes and put it together in his sex journal and be like,
trademark
Ryann. Yeah. The numbers don't add up.
No, exactly. I mean, yeah, if you're lying about your sex life, don't start a podcast. I guess that's rule number 1.
Not about this, at least. Not with an episode on one night stands, that's for sure.
I know. Started about saving yourself till marriage. Maybe that'll work for you.
Well, I don't know. Someone might come out of the woodworks and be like, I slept with them.
Yeah. And then they'll start like a group chat. They're like, yeah, me too. What?
Right. Yeah. They'll have a support group.
It's all going to get back to you somehow. So,
yeah,
you know,
you're like the Tinder swindler of pretending to be a virgin.
I just saw that term and I don't know what that was about. So
it's
we'll have to talk about that.
Documentary.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's about this guy. It's wild. He just lied so much. Like I was thinking of that as you were telling, like when we were talking about snowballing and stuff. He just scammed these women out of tons and tons of money.
It's about money? Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry. People deserve it. If you're dumb enough to send people money over the internet, I'm sorry.
Okay. See, we talked about, this is why you're going to be a cult leader and I might join a cult. Like because I'd like to think I don't know. I wouldn't be. I know. I'm like, so I shouldn't have just sent that money to that random person. Are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want to write anything off. I want to be vigilant. I don't want to say that can never happen to me because, you know, I might have my guard down. And then what happens?
You get swindled.
I get swindled. I get Tinder swindled.
I could totally swindle somebody out of some money for sure. I could do it. But that's the thing. Like I don't need to, but also 2, like the fact that I can do it lets me know that you can either, like, you can choose, like, those people are making like a conscious decision to like be shady people and like con people out of money.
Right.
Because
You're
it's
not a
actually,
sociopath. So,
thankfully,
like
yeah,
that's, yeah, thankfully
right.
that's true. Yeah.
But it's really true, because that's why I think when I see people using manipulative behavior, especially in the past, I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I'm like, I know that I could do that also. So like maybe they are just like not cognizant of it, right? Like I'm giving them all these outs. All the while, I really know, like, I really kind of know, like, instinct, like gut instinct. I'm like, like, no, you're being shady about something. Like, I can just pretty much
Yeah.
tell. And I know that a lot of people don't really have that. Like, a lot of people really do want to see the good in people, even if they've been jaded themselves, they still will like forever be that hopeless, like, I think they're good, like I think they have good intentions, when in reality, again, I'm learning this in therapy, but stop assuming people's fucking intentions. I promise you, like, if you have a gut feeling, just go with it. And usually, especially like stuff like this, like on apps, people are bullshitting 99% of the time,
Oh, for
including you.
sure.
Like,
Including you. Yes. Oh,
so
absolutely. 100%. And yeah, you could just swing the other way and be like Morgan and not trust anybody. You'll never get swindled because you'll never let anyone in.
oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, back to one night stands. Woo,
Back to
what a
it.
tangent. Okay. So this next article had some interesting facts, and I'm doing air quotes around interesting because we'll see what Ryann has to say about these, whether she hates them, she loves them, or just rolls her eyes. We'll find out. Okay, so the first one is, and please, I did not do extra research on whether these are true or not. This is just what this article said. So let's just, let's just go over them. Okay, so some people are actually born with the hookup gene. These people have a predestined interest in casual sex and behaviors that allow them to feel good only for a short amount of time. They are more likely to engage in one-night stands than others. This just feels like a swindler, like a you know those guys who like teach other guys how to pick up women by like being mean to them.
Oh my god,
This
yes.
kind of feels like that. Like, get her
Yeah.
interested, and then you tell her like, oh, I only can feel satisfied with a new partner every time or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, definitely.
This just feels
Definitely.
like a con in itself. This is so silly.
No, definitely. Yeah, this is like a nature versus nurture. I don't think it has anything to do with nature. I do think that people that grow up in like more sexually liberated households don't have this big attachment to sex, therefore they can, just feel a little bit more free and, get what they desire, kind of thing. But no, as far as like a literal like biological gene, like, okay, relax. Like it's not
Yeah,
that serious. Like
it's
if you
it's
have to
not
tell
that
somebody that you
serious.
have a hookup gene to like get laid, you're probably not going to get laid, A, and like you don't deserve to get laid, B. So
Right. Yes. A and B. Absolutely true. Okay. So next one. For a hookup, for a one night stand, this says that women are believed to go after hot partners when looking for a one night stand. If uh, if women are quite determined to have fun and have kinky sex, they will avoid looking for just any partner, but a smart, charming, and sexy one. Men, on the other hand, are down to have sex regardless of how their partner looks, whether they are attractive according to their preferences or not. What do you think?
I I disagree. I think that this is the common misconception that women just go after like the hunk, the like brooding hunk at the bar that like, nobody can quite seem to catch his eye. Like I actually have found the opposite to be true. Like hot guys are such a mirage. You know what I mean? Like they are all aesthetic and like like it's like your hand goes through them, there's like nothing there.
It's a hologram.
It's a
Okay,
hologram.
but on the flip side, you're like, I don't want a relationship with that guy. He's literally, there's real, nothing there. So he is the one night stand.
Yeah, but I would rather, I don't know, like, yes, sure, he's the one night stand if, you had to choose, I guess. But at the same time, in my experience, those guys are usually the worst at everything a one night stand is supposed to be good and fun about. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like realistically, most hot guys in like if they're just like hegemonically, handsome dudes in our society, right? They haven't really have ever had to develop their personality. Like, we know this to be true. This is a phenomenon no matter what country you go to. I've met guys from all around the world, and it's like pretty much true, a resounding, yes, that
Oh,
most
that's
hot guys
true.
are just like not that fun. And so like I think for like your early hookup days, this is true, like if you're experienced like I am, seasoned,
In your
you
early
realize.
days, meaning you have mid hookup days and later hookup days. It's
Right.
just the party never
Yeah.
ends.
Right. It doesn't. It really doesn't have to if you don't want it to. But yeah, I think at first, like I was like, yeah, going for like the hot guy, like thinking that was a thing. When in reality, like his like quirky friend that's like cracking jokes and, like making sure, that like everybody gets their drink okay. Like
Yeah.
that's like the guy that's actually going to be fun and interesting to have a conversation with. And again, guys age well too. So like if you get like an older guy that might not have been like the, like the hunk, whatever of his day, but at the same time, he has a personality developed, like he takes care of himself, like all those things are way more attractive than just like the hegemonically beautiful face.
Right.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Right. That's true. Yeah. I definitely am more drawn to like a vibe, a personality, a
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
I
A
just know my
grower,
type.
not a shower.
Yeah. Yes.
In all the sense of the
Yeah, all encompassing. Okay, so the next one, we'll see. We'll see what this next one, how Ryann feels. Okay, it says, even if women are inclined towards casual sex, they are more likely to feel used and humiliated after sex with a stranger. It is believed that fewer women feel positive after casual sex, mostly because they feel vulnerable about giving their bodies to others so easily. This mentality isn't new, as it has birthed from centuries of oppressed female pleasure and desire.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Even in my later years, I think for me was that I always, like I said, it's all just the chase was really fun. Like it was always the chase was really fun.
Yeah.
And so there just wasn't that many times where the sex actually lived up to anything, like I don't think I can like really name many shows or like many, movie examples aside from like current TV. Current TV obviously has changed a lot. I don't know what's on like cable TV, but I'm talking about like premium shows that actually show a little bit more reality of, depicting like hookups and stuff. But before that, I don't really think I can think of a show that actually showed a girl hook up with a guy, on a whim, right? Where they didn't know each other, whatever. And she leave like being like, yeah, like that's awesome. I know that like I didn't get into it, but I know like Sex and the City, I've heard that there was like a little bit more of that on that show.
Yeah.
But I just know that a lot of it was taught to like be, walk of shame, right? That's literally what it's
Walk of
called,
shame. Yeah,
right?
exactly. And it's not about men.
And it's not about men.
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not. The stereotype is not that a man is creeping down the hallway of the hotel trying to sneak away.
No.
That's not the punchline.
Right. No, exactly. Right. And so that was always the thing too, which I think also that does play into, unhealthy stereotypes about women versus men anyway, because men are always supposed to provide, right? So they're supposed to have the place, the hotel, the wherever, the getaway to get, to where you're going, which cannot actually be really dangerous, right? Like going somewhere with somebody that you don't know, again, it could be dangerous for both of you, but I'm just saying like historically that could actually be a really dangerous situation for a woman, like, oh, let me pull you away to this unknown location. Which, if you are doing these things, be smarter than a lot of us, even us sometimes, but always find your iPhone, have something on so that your friends can find you, make sure that it
Send
can
your
be,
friends the address, let them
right?
know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's definitely ways that you should be protecting yourself, not
Yeah,
just with
exactly.
condoms,
Right. Yeah.
but
Condoms as
also with
well.
condoms.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Exactly. When it's tied up in shame, you're more likely to do things in secret, right? And
Mhm.
be secretive about it, and even hold it back from like your closest people around you. But the reality is like, hopefully you have somebody around you, at least one person that you feel comfortable enough to tell, no matter what's going on, no matter how quote unquote shameful it should be, which again, it does not have to be shameful at all. You can totally hook
Mm-mm.
up with somebody and do that and go on about your day. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next one is it says a British study reported that women with wider hips are more likely to engage in pleasurable casual sex. And then it says men who are believed to be more masculine and manly have higher chances of attracting a partner and are less likely to get involved in full-blown relationships.
I mean,
So,
yeah. Tell me your toxic masculinity without telling me that you're
right. It's like, okay.
toxic
I mean, I feel like we've
masculinity.
already
Yeah.
talked about that with like the, more attractive guy
Right.
partner being the stereotype when I stand for women. But I did like the women with wider hips are more likely to engage. And it says pleasurable casual sex. So
I mean, between the two of us, Jose had no room in the back seat. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
that
mean,
tells
you
you all you
guys
need to know.
usually, yeah. You guys usually see us from our, midsection up, but for those who don't know, Ryan and I both have huge hips.
True. We need a much wider angle.
Yeah. When we're ready for an upgrade, we'll
That's
get
right.
panoramic with it.
That's right. Nobody's built like Morgan.
Mm, well.
See, she's leaning into it now. It took a long time to get there.
Hey, you know what? I said 30s, I'm here for it.
Yes.
So
That's really true, though. I do think there's something to be said about the fact that, yeah, our bodies were not always in style, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, I
yeah.
say that, jokingly now, but no, like, our bodies were not always what people were looking for when we went out, right? Like, even the stuff that we had to shop for, where we could even
Oh my
shop.
God. Yeah.
Like, it was always like fucking horrible finding things that could fit us, right? Like, that's just the whole thing. And now we're in a completely different time where I can go to Target and find a good pair of like very curvy jeans. That was never the norm. Like, I was looking boxy as fuck for a long time. Okay.
Right. And you wanted them to fit. You're like, I just want to look like my other friends in high school. Like,
yeah.
I tried so hard to wear Dickies. You guys remember Dickies? Yeah. I tried so hard. I really, really wanted to. And when my mom finally got me a pair, they looked terrible. Terrible.
When that material is not forgiving.
It is not
anywhere.
forgiving. Yeah, I had a little bit of a stomach already. It was not a good look. I think I wore them once. It was not cute. Not cute.
Yeah, I'm glad. But you know what? I mean, we've come a long way. But yeah, I love that set. I mean, I do think that it makes more sense that, I mean, like childbearing hips. I don't know if that's really true, but it does make a little bit of sense just because you have a little bit more room, cushion for the pushing, that whole thing. But I mean, 10 out of 10, I'd recommend.
Would you click one of these buttons as you leave? Would you?
Right.
Yeah. Green smiley face? Okay.
It'd be green all day.
Green all day. There you go. So last one. People who have found, or people who struggle with depression, it says they're more prone to meaningless one night stands versus a committed relationship. So I feel like that's kind of a broad statement, but it does say poor mental health or self-esteem can play a major part in people wanting to have sex because they tend to seek validation from others by having sex confidently. Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
I know we both like.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to take a pause because obviously, yeah, generalizing any type of, mental health situation or struggle is not okay. But at the same time, I think that just ties back to, your lack of confidence, if you are in, a situation where your mental health is not the best, whether it be depression, anxiety, any other situation, honestly. Yeah, because you've got so much going on in your own head, you're not going to be able to, really emotionally process that with another person. So it makes sense that you would lean more toward a hookup, which for me, I don't regret any of my hookups necessarily. Like they weren't all the best, but I don't necessarily regret them because like whatever, it's a part of my story. Like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, oh, for sure. Like there were times when I remember like some hookups, like maybe wanting to hook up again. And I was just like, no, like this will never go anywhere. Like I can't even see you the next morning, you know? But at the same time, that was just me in my own head. They definitely weren't giving that off. They were like, no, this was a fine time. Like it was fun. And I was like, oh my God, right. This is a mess. Like, oh, I got to get out of here, you know? And that was all me. That was all my own mental situation going on. You know, as we're having sex, I'm already like, okay, like where's my stuff? You know, like that's all in my own head. Nobody else is putting that on me. So totally, I was not ready for a relationship. And it had everything to do with my own, you know, inner confidence or lack thereof. Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So so it was a couple months before the pandemic, but that was like, I had a one night stand and I was like, I need to take a break from this. Like, I don't mind, like you were saying, it's part of my story. I don't regret the people I've slept with. Some have been fun, some have been okay, you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
But I realized that the way that I was approaching sex wasn't really the most positive or healthy way for myself. You know, I think I was looking for a lot of outside, I don't know if validation's the right word, but maybe avoidance. I was doing a lot of avoiding of things. I'm real good at that. So I just wanted to step away and kind of not have that be part of what I was doing for a while. And then the pandemic hit and it became a much longer break than I thought.
Right.
But I definitely have fallen into this category before. You know, I do struggle with depression. And so I do understand what they're talking about, even though this is kind of general, just from my personal experience. I have taken a step back from the way that I have approached sex in the past. Not that I'm against one night stands and not that I won't have them in the future. I'm just saying I did have a moment where I had to take just a pause and look at, you know, am I doing this because I want to have sex and have fun and feel good in my body and all the things that should be positive about it? Or is there something else at play here that I need to really sit with myself and think about? So,
okay.
Yeah,
definitely. I think I really like the fact that it's always better to think about what your part in it was. You know what I mean? Like the person could be anyone. Let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different people. There's so many ways to meet people now. Like we've said, you know, there's so many apps out there. And now I know there's more specific apps, you know, even if you're looking for even less of a commitment, you know, which is fine, you know, but again, it's always more you. It's very rarely has anything to do with the other person. Because again, they're kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of things, right? Like that's not what you're going to remember when you look back. Right. There were people that I've thought like, oh, I'm going to remember this forever. I could not tell you any details, like even the good ones, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the bad ones keep you humble. So keep it moving.
Keep you humble. There you go.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, you know, we like to tie this up with funny stories sometimes, which there was and there wasn't, but I really wanted to find out if there were things that people will not do with a one night stand, just like a hard no. So as I was doing the research, it mostly just took me to like Reddit, which don't go to Reddit. I don't know if, I know Ryann and I aren't experts, but some of the stuff I was looking at was pretty fucked up. And then I was just like, I don't think I like it here. Like this, I don't think this place is like for me. I know
is Reddit the dark web? Is it just the dark web? Is that what Reddit is? I don't know.
I think Reddit is like the pre-dark web. Like dark web, you need like different kinds of things to access. It's a real thing, but Reddit seems like a gateway drug. You know how they used to say weed is like a gateway drug? I think Reddit is the gateway drug to the dark web.
I got
That's what I think. Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to confirm that I was over 18 to view the conversation. And I don't know if Reddit does that for everything, but for one night stands in particular. But it was getting pretty terrible. I was like, what the fuck are these people talking about? Like, go outside. What are you doing? I don't know. It just anyways, but there was some funny stuff in there.
Okay.
So let's talk about some hard no's. So some people said that they will not overdrink, which, you know, it's usually not intentional, but a wild night happens once in a while. But a lot of guys in particular were saying whiskey dick. So if you haven't heard that term, it just means that you can't get an erection because you...
No, say that again.
Oh, no, I was just saying whiskey dick, if you don't know, is when you drink too much and you can't stay hard.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but when our first year living together, I told you that I had the opposite situation happen with quote unquote whiskey dick because the person, remember, who I slept with for a while, like he was a regular, he kept going. He just couldn't come.
Oh.
He was incredibly hard.
Maybe we need to look up the term whiskey dick.
Yeah, no, I didn't
write it down because I thought...
Oh, well, maybe, no, I think colloquially it does mean that you can't get it hard. I think maybe not. I don't know. But for him, it was the opposite. He just couldn't come. So I was good all night.
Interesting. He might have had another kind of dick, but we can talk about that offline.
Now that one I remember.
No, because I was hooking up with someone in college and he could not because
I remember.
Yeah. Oh. I was thinking that when I was going through this.
I knew you were going to roll your eyes.
You've always been in the other room. We've always been like feet apart from each other, haven't we?
Literally. And you would, I mean, the funniest thing to me is that you would literally give me a report on the situation like 10 seconds after. Like you would walk out like past our little like curtain divider thing. Yeah. You didn't get it out. Like, are you done? You're like, I don't know. He's still in bed.
I know. I'm just over it. I don't know. That's really funny. Oh my God. To be fair, we lived in tiny shoebox apartments. So it was kind of unavoidable.
Oh, it definitely was. Definitely was.
It was.
But we acted like that curtain was like a real partition. It wasn't. Like he definitely was just staring at us talking.
I know. I'm like, I know. I'm just giving you a play-by-play. He's like, okay, I guess I'm going to go now. I'm like, bye.
You're still here. What are you doing? Walk of shame.
I know. I make him walk of shame. There you go.
Feminine,
maybe that's the guy equivalent, the walk of shame, whiskey dick.
Interesting. We'll have to look up that term. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We'll
see.
We'll see.
That will be a poll.
Yeah.
Is whiskey dick not being able to get it up at all because the alcohol has affected your system so much that you can't get it up? Or is it that you cannot come? So you're able to get it hard, but you're just not able to finish in general. Yeah.
Okay. So there's our poll for the week, guys. We'll definitely be checking in with you because we need some confirmation.
Yes.
Okay. And so to tie in Ryan's reference from the beginning, another hard no is butt sex. And I put a little note, no backdoor love with a stranger, which is a callback to our college days as well.
Oh my
because
should we tell that story?
Backdoor love, which we could, I don't know. It's more your story to tell than mine. I mean,
well, yeah, but you're the one that hacked into my Facebook. So
you left it open.
I know. No, I knew you were going to say that.
Just say I hacked it.
Yeah, let's take a little moment. So I think it was Morgan's freshman year of high school. No.
Wow. That would, that'd be a lot for 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
You would have been like 12. Inappropriate.
Yeah. So it was the early years of college, and this was the days where Facebook was really popping. That was where everybody was. It was like Facebook statuses, like you were checking everything, It was the updated MySpace, right? And so of course, the big thing back then was to hack each other's Facebooks, right? Like hacked by, Morgan, winky face, like, haha, it was like this huge thing that really isn't that funny in hindsight, but it was then.
It's kind of messed up. So I do feel a little guilty now. I do have a little bit
invasion of privacy.
Regret about this, but go on. No, it's okay.
We have other things to regret. It's not that. But anyways, so
I've lived a whole life since then. I have a lot more things to, to look back in shame. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But anyways, so we had read some article in a magazine about backdoor loving, which, yes, anal sex. And Morgan, hacked my Facebook profile, whatever. I probably, left it open on like the one laptop that we had for all of us.
Yeah.
And she like wrote some like funny status about like me really liking backdoor loving. Do you remember what it was actually?
I was trying to think what exactly the wording was. Like, it definitely said like, I heart backdoor, or I heart butt stuff, like #backdoor love or something like that.
Something like that. I don't even know if we were cool enough for hashtags yet. Maybe we might have.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe not.
It might have been. I don't know. Either way, it gets like some, laughs, whatever. I'm sure some of our friends probably like laughed at it. But one very eager fella took it upon himself to slide in my DMs, which was probably the first DM slide I've ever had. And
he took it seriously.
He took it very seriously.
That you would just post that on your Facebook.
Yeah. As if I really just wanted to display to everyone that I was a girl down for butt stuff, which again, maybe there are, people out there that are just that confident in themselves.
Right.
But a fresh
wave that flag. But in this particular instance,
it was clearly a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he took it very seriously. And me just being young, I'm like, oh, like he's like wanting to flirt, like ha ha ha. And he literally like wrote me about that later. It was like, hey, how are you? Oh yeah, let's exchange numbers. Okay, cool. So about that backdoor loving. And I was just like, wait,
you really hold on to that little nugget. We deleted it like 5 minutes later. This was not out for the world. Like we laughed and all this stuff, and then it was gone. But he held on to that. He held on to that precious little hope that he could penetrate you anally.
Yeah. Which at the time, I'm pretty sure I was still a virgin. So I was just like, I mean, I'm not having like, what is
front
it?
Door.
I'm not. Nobody's even coming in the front. So,
Yeah. So there you go. So for some people with a stranger, it's not going to happen. No backdoor love. Not using protection, which yes, you should be safe, as we always say. But things happen. Mm-hmm. I've definitely had some moments, some nights.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I want to go back to the last one because I forgot that what we were talking about is no-gos for a one night stand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that that's not necessarily true with backdoor loving. Look, I'm like going to call it backdoor loving now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I could see actually people being more open to having butt sex or anal sex, whatever, anally penetrated with someone that they don't really know. Because yes, I know, like, especially for like, I'm assuming we're talking about straight couples, obviously. But I could actually see that being something that you would want to try with somebody that you're not as familiar with, just because if you don't like it, or something like that. Like, for example, like my partner, like I've said, fucking loves butt stuff, but at the same time, like I'm open to it, but I could see somebody who maybe was dating him and was like, wait, this like actually freaks me out, but I like you as a person, but like, I don't want to keep doing these things. Like, shit, I wish this was a hookup. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I could see that being more of like a let's experiment with butt stuff. And if I don't like it, I never have to deal with you or this again. You know what I mean? Like I can throw, what is it? Baby with the bathwater, like all of it, just all of it goes.
That's an interesting perspective. So. I wouldn't have, you're like, oh, don't let me get saddled with this like butt sex lover over here. And you're just not into it.
Yeah.
I
mean, this is my life. We have way more butt toys than we do any other toys. But to be fair, I don't really like, or I don't use toys that much anyway. So it's not that different. I mean,
they're all for him.
yeah. Yeah. They are fun. Hey, if you're interested, if you have any curiosity about anal sex and you are just a part of, I would say a large majority that doesn't feel comfortable, exploring that maybe with your partner, get a toy, like try something out for the first time, start slow. Don't just ram it in. I mean, that's your thing, go for it. But start with something smaller, slow, and it could be an enjoyable situation, but for both of you. I don't know if you want to show up to a hookup with that, but somebody's doing it somewhere. I'm sure somebody is like bringing their little like goodie bag, to like a hookup.
Well, yeah, that's true. What was it? Like 14% where it's planned? Maybe
right.
that's who.
Right.
The ones who have like the duffel bag full of toys.
Exactly. Oh yeah. That's kind of hot. Some people are definitely into that for sure.
Yeah. They're out there. They're out there. Cleveland, we're looking at you again. So like we said, safe sex, protect yourself. And next one is using your real name. So some people were saying they do not use their real name. Have you ever given someone a fake name?
Well, no. I think I tried. Oh, wait. Yes, I have. I don't know. Look, I don't know if we went to home together or not, but I've definitely said a fake name to somebody that I was just like, I really have interest in ever talking to you again.
Yeah.
But someone I hooked up with, I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah.
I'm not sly enough to remember to like keep that going. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true. And then you're going to see them at like Target.
Yeah. When I use my sister, when I used my sister's ID, we had to keep it up for a minute while they checked my ID, but that's about it.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, that was the stressful time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think
really
so. Yeah, we really do. But I don't think so. I don't get that. Like why that would be a thing. Like you are still the person. It's not like you're changing your visual, like what you look like, So even if they see you out, they're just gonna be like, Lisa.
Right. Yeah. Like, I came in your ass last week. Do you remember? Like, no. Who's gonna say that?
No, exactly.
I don't know. And even if you're like rich and powerful in some way, don't people sign NDAs anyway? Or like, are you not having protected sex and you don't want her to call you and 9 months later? Like, what are you trying to avoid?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what you would get out of that. I don't know what would be the pro to that.
Oh, you're married. You're not in an open relationship.
Yeah, very
we figured it out.
I know, right? Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I guess so.
That could be it.
Man, I just wish be more sexually liberated. Like, fuck,
Yeah, I know.
Because all it leads to again is just secrecy and lies, and not just even in relationships, but just like people not even wanting to own up to like one night stands. Like, why are you giving fake names? Like, live your life, Joe.
No. If you were gonna give a fake name, what would your fake name be?
Lisa. I don't even know. I don't know. I'd probably use my middle name. I'd probably say Amira.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you? Who'd you be?
I don't think I'd use my middle name. It's Renee. I don't know if I use Renee, but I don't know. When I first asked you that, Natasha, the Russian spy, popped back in my head. So maybe her. I don't know if I could pull off a Russian accent though. When I drink, I think I'm good at accents. So I pretended to be Scottish when I was in Scotland. That's super offensive. But not in front of anyone, just in front of us in the Airbnb.
Oh my God.
There are videos. It's not cute. Okay, so we have a couple more funny absolutely no's, or whatever we want to call them. No-gos. Yeah. One night stand no-gos. So one girl said that dick size, in regards to dick size, so her requirement for a one night stand is that the dick must be 7 inches or bigger. But in a relationship, she doesn't care. I was like, that is specific. So yeah.
That is really specific. Also, how do you know?
Right.
Like, what do you back out when like he whips
She
it
might
out?
be one of those people who just gets up and leaves. Remember how we were saying, who does that? Maybe we found her.
Maybe. I mean, again, if I really could, if I could turn back time,
No, yours was better. Mine, go ahead.
Oh my gosh. But if I could, there were some times I would have taken back, like after he pulled his pants down, not just because it was small, but also because I was like, it's small, but also you are not great. So it's not like you're going to really work it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Again, the hot guy Mirage. Like I've been into situations where when we finally got to bed, I was like, I know this isn't going to be great, but we're here. You know what I mean? And again, for the experience, I'm not mad at it, right? We're going to make a sex journal. So hopefully I make some money off of it. Make my Uber back. But at the same time, I would say that all of those like weird limitations, like I don't really know what they equal, because does that really mean, like, I've met some guys that didn't have like the biggest dick, but like they were great at other things, or again, like we just had great chemistry that I would not change for a bigger dick necessarily. So I don't know.
Right.
I do like a big dick though. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't.
Right.
I mean, let's just be clear.
No one thought you would. So.
Yeah. Don't got these wide hips for nothing. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Ooh, good point. Very good point. So last couple, going down on people, which we have heard, and I have made this choice in some hookups. There's those moments where you're like, I'm not gonna do that tonight. Not for you,
Yeah, I've done a lot of both. I don't even know. I honestly couldn't tell you, because I don't really think of going down as like a separate act. Like if we're having sex, we're doing all of the sex. Not to say we did all of it every time that I hooked up with someone, but I don't think of it as like he went down on me, but I didn't go down on him. Like a lot of those conversations tend to be somewhat toxic, because again, it's like, it's about control, right? And it's like, no, he's going to do that to me, but I'm not going to do it to him. Or, the other thing, like, oh no, I'll do it to him, but like, he's not going to do that to me, because you're not going to have that kind of control over me. Like, relax. Like, like literally relax, because you're making me tense, but also like, relax. It's just sex. Like, I think sometimes that, like when it comes to things like this, like sex can be easily manipulated, right? Like people can really get people to act outside themselves for sex. You know what I mean? And so to me, it's just like, just enjoy it. Like, I don't know, going down isn't that big of a deal. It should be a part of sex. Like, not every time, but it's just a part of sex.
It's just what happens, whether it does or doesn't. That's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah. But I think a point that a lot of people were making was it can feel more intimate than penetration.
Really?
I mean, it's your mouth, it's your face, like between their legs. Like, I guess that's a little bit.
Yeah, but if they're penetrating you, you're like, eyes are aligned. You're like staring into each other's souls.
Oh, that's a good point too. Not always though. That's not true.
I mean, oh no, I've definitely turned a few heads. I'm like, first of all, your breast stinks, but also too, like, I don't need a visual. Like...
Right. You smell like a breakfast burrito. So now we're gonna switch to doggy style.
Exactly.
So, and to this point, the last one is, some people say no kissing.
Oh gosh.
No kissing. They're like, that's too intimate.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that the last episode?
Yes, that's why I was like, wow, people are really saying this. Okay,
right.
Let's bring it up again.
I know. Well, and you know what? You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Kissing is super fun to me, though. That's like a fun part of it. You know what I mean? But again, I think the reality we all need to come to grips with is that when you do have one night stands, again, they aren't usually planned. And so like just the dental hygiene of it all, if you're not, you brushed your teeth like 16 hours ago, you know what I mean? Like, I do understand that could be like a turn off, but at the same time, like, again, it's just all part of the sex. Like, I don't know if I've ever, I don't know. Have you ever like denied someone kissing? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, like if someone goes in for it and you're like, whoa, like especially if you're just at the club or something, like
yeah, like
people are
dancing
getting
and grinding
drunk and they just
yeah
like turn and go, and
yeah
you're like, whoa, I was dancing with like these people over here, you know, like
right.
people just get real, like,
That's
you
really
know,
true. No, that's a really good point.
yeah.
There's been multiple times. Oh my gosh, how many times have we had to save each other on the dance floor when like some
Oh
dude
my
is just
God,
like,
right. You just grab your friend and turn them around, and then the guy like pops up behind them 2 seconds later, and then you turn around again.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
I hate straight clubs. I fucking hate straight clubs. Ugh. Like at least in a gay club, you turn around and it's like a very well-groomed, like handsome man that's just like wanting to like booty pop on you, you know? And you're like, yeah.
Right. And like complimenting your eyebrows. And you're like,
right.
This is the best experience I've had in a long time.
Thank you. Right. I know. Way more napkins
you become friends
available.
and you have a drink together, and they're Instagram friends now forever. So
yes, exactly.
It's a much different experience.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So no kissing, apparently. Hard nose for some people. So it's time for the big question. Are we doing this wrong? What do you think, Ryann?
I don't think so. I think we've done, me and you collectively.
Yeah.
I think we've done pretty good when it comes to hookups. Because I think we've ran the gamut. You know what I mean? Like we've had the wild ones where we're just like, okay, let's get home. Like Morgan, I'm coming back to the hotel right now. Like open the door, you know?
Yeah.
But we've also had the ones where, you know, you like kick your heels up on your shoulder and you're like, yeah, that's right. Did that,
right.
You know?
Right. Some of those conquests, that's true.
Oh, for sure.
You're like, walk of shame. Yeah, right, baby. Like, where's
right?
the spotlight? This bitch walked it down tonight. Like, yes.
Oh yeah. Me and Morgan have escorted each other to many a hookups.
Buddy system.
Buddy system.
We said. Bring a friend.
Bring a friend. Like, oh my gosh. Especially in our later years, we had no fucks to give. Like the amount of times that we went into penthouses and we're just like, this is it. Like, okay.
Right. Like, okay, it's the penthouse, but you're still at the Palms.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not the Cosmopolitan. This isn't Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, just relax. So you know. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, we sound ridiculous.
I know. So
I mean, it's all true, but we sound really bougie.
I mean, whatever. We were staying off the strip anyway, so not all the time.
No, that's true. That's true.
But the point is that we've had some really good like situations where we like finally figured out like the flow of like what we wanted to happen, you know, like, you know, because I mean, that's the thing. Like once you feel comfortable hooking up, you don't always end up actually hooking up, right? Because you know that like, okay, if I want to go home, I can. But if I don't, you know, but I don't have to, like, that's not like the end all be all of the night. You know what I mean? Right. Like I said, the chase is so fun, leaving people wanting more, you know, leaving the club and being like, okay, bye. Like, that's so fun too, you know? And then you
that's true.
Get home safe and laugh about all the things that you did or didn't do, whatever, you know? So all of it can be fun. So I think we've done hooking up right.
Oh, yeah. There we go. What a good way to round out February.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
We are good at one night stands. Yeah. So.
Hit us up in the DMs.
Yeah, right. And for people who don't want to have one night stands, that's great too. Do your thing. Yeah. We've just lived different lives.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. We just don't relate at all. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah. Listen to our episode on masturbation. That was a bonus episode, you know. So but yeah, seriously, like there's so many different ways to enjoy sex, to enjoy people. And it doesn't always have to center around sex. Like one of the best nights that I ever had, actually. Oh, we didn't end up hooking up, but it wasn't until the next morning. But one of the best nights that I've actually had was with a guy I met. I actually met him while waiting for Morgan to be done with her hookup. But I was waiting like a good friend at the bar. And I met this guy and we like immediately hit it off. You know, he came over and started talking to me or whatever. And we went back to his room. He had a really nice room. I can't remember. It was at the same hotel that you were at, obviously.
No, it wasn't.
Oh my God, it wasn't. It was a nice hotel though.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, because
wow.
I can't remember what hotel it was, but
damn it. It was, oh my gosh, it's like right there.
Was it with a V?
Maybe it was with a V. Was it the Vidara?
Vidara. That's what it was. Yeah, because I was like, I thought it was a V. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you were at a really nice hotel, the Vidara.
It was the Vidara, and we met the night before. Obviously, we ended up talking all night, and we just kind of like went back and forth. We kind of like kissed here, kissed there a little bit. But we hooked up the next morning. But the point is that the whole night was just like cute, flirty moments. Like just talking. A little bit of like rubbing up and grinding and here and there and whatever, listening to music, but it was so fun. Like, because again, it was just the back and forth, the chase all night, And so the point is like, I think that once you become a little bit more comfortable with the idea of sex and the fact that like the sex does not have to be the focal point of the night, you can really like lean into whether or not you really want to have sex, because maybe after that night, I was like, okay, I can go home. Like I'm good. You know what I mean?
Right.
But again, I like sex, so I wanted to, but the point is that I didn't have to. And so I just think as you open up and become more confident in yourself and like what you will allow or what you will not allow, you can just have so much more fun with it. And if you ever feel pressured, that's probably a sign that you just need to get out of that situation anyway, because if it's a mutual pressure, it's just chemistry, right? But if it feels one-sided, if it feels like the other person is being pushy, just know that you can always leave, right? Like, yeah, just like we talked about on orgies, you can always leave.
Yep, exactly. Boundaries are cool.
Yes, boundaries are cool. Trademark.
Trademark, yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Well, that was fun.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryann, for joining me. What am I talking about now?
No, thank you. That was such a good episode. I loved those. Yeah, that was really good. That was fun.
That was fun. That was fun. And thank you guys for tuning in for another week of Am I Doing This Wrong? Go out there and have your one night stands, or don't, whatever you want to do. But hopefully you'll take a little bit of this with you to your one night stand. We want to be there.
Yeah.
DM us while you're doing it. That would be great.
Play this in the background.
play it. Yes, exactly. Maybe there's some tips in here.
Tip somewhere.
Maybe there's a tip somewhere as we speak. So as always, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you guys get your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube for the visual conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so far for the reviews that are on the podcast platforms. They've been really fun to just read and see, so thank you so much to those of you that have reviewed or subscribed on YouTube. We're growing and it's exciting. Yeah, we're a grower, exciting. Not a shower.
Yes, that describes us perfectly. Thank you for putting that out there. Well, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week. All right, bye.
Bye.